that, I sincerely hope that mine is just one of many portraits of prime ministers from both parties that will continue to be hung here for decades and centuries to come. But that will require that in these perilous times, both parties, whatever their other differences, come together against external forces that threaten our independence and against domestic policies that threaten our unity. We must preserve Canada, this country handed down to us by Providence, preserved by our ancestors, and held in trust for our descendants. We must make any sacrifice necessary to preserve the independence and the unity of this blessed land. As I've said before, le Canada est et a toujours été notre pays.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
I truly believe he does love Canada. Like, you feel like he loves this place when he talks about it. But I do appreciate the fact that he put domestic policies right up there with external threats. They are equally dangerous to Canada. And I don't even think there's external threats that are dangerous to Canada in the way that one might suggest, unless we're talking about foreign interference from the Chinese and Asian extortion gangs running amok.
To give that one part of the speech a compliment, notice it's refreshing. I know he's not the current leader of Canada, but it's nice to have a former leader or current leader not talk about how we're on stolen land for a change.
Yeah.
Talking about, this country given to us by Providence. Like, okay, that's nice. I
It's
like
nice.
that. It
feels
obviously he's
nostalgic.
oh my goodness, it's like this is how people used to talk in 2006. Isn't that nice?
Right.
I'm because I'm just 26 years old. I'm nostalgic for like the Smash Mouth era of world culture, and back in the day
kick
where
him
we took
off
for
this
granted.
call.
Yeah, where we used to, that era where we actually used to think that we own the things that we currently own.
Right.
And so hopefully, I guess he was trying to be unifying, although I don't really suspect a lot of people are going to follow his lead on that one there. That's the problem with unity a lot of times in federal politics, is that the unity only ever goes one way. Conservatives are told to unify with liberals,
Right.
but it never goes back the other direction. I do like the idea that probably interim NDP leader Don Davies was in that room, and Stephen Harper only talks about both parties having more prime ministers pictures on the wall. They're just always being snubbed all the time.
Thank you so much. Like, I appreciate that was a savage burn by Stephen Harper saying, we want many prime ministers of both parties to hang on these walls. And I just thought, imagine what it felt like to be an NDP in that moment. Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, Avi Lewis.
Yeah, exactly what they deserve. But listen, I will not be going to the official portrait website to discover all of the many details. What I want to know is, how much did it cost taxpayers to honest to God, how much did it cost taxpayers to paint another humongous portrait that these people can walk by and gaze their view upon in Ottawa? This doesn't benefit the country. We have homeless people on the streets. We have people dying of addictions in this country. And here we have Stephen Harper saying we need to make any sacrifice necessary to save Canada. The people of Canada have sacrificed enough. Thanks very much. And I think that this is extraordinarily tone deaf. This is not going to put to bed any of the arguments of the people that say this is a uniparty, that there is no difference between the Conservatives and the Libs because they just work in these circles together. And the last thing, honestly, when I'm looking for fight out of the Conservatives, the last thing I want to see is, Conservatives sidling up to Liberals and having a good old time in Ottawa. I just think it's spectacularly tone deaf. And to be completely honest, I don't care about the portrait.
I'm not upset about the portrait and whatever money it costs, because Stephen Harper, he didn't renovate 24 Sussex because he knew that it would look like he was spending money on himself. He didn't have nannies because he didn't want to look like he was spending money on himself. And so I think he made those sacrifices. But
is $1 million too much for this vanity project, or what's the price? Because I think
he
was going to get one anyway.
I do
Like
like
you want.
Liz's idea where we could modify it where you only get a crayon drawing until we're out of deficit. We have to
Sure.
earn our way into getting a nice
Okay.
portrait. But
Stick
I-
figure.
Put it into Grok until we're out of extreme debt. We'll have
Yeah.
Grok make the
Amen.
next one.
because the painting is still on screen, I'm going to hijack your show and turn this into
Sure.
eTalk Canada.
Please.
This is the last time anyone's ever going to remember the name eTalk Canada. But do you guys actually like the painting? I think it's good, but I always hate when they put like the little details all over the
I
photo.
like the
It beco-
details.
the details are fun, kind of, but you got to like reduce them. Because back in the day, it would just be some guy sitting in a chair looking very regal, and
Right.
I actually kind of liked that. I never like when it becomes like "Where's Waldo" in the
I
background.
like that. Maybe I'm just
Well,
bored.
I love a good Easter egg in a piece of art. Like I like when art leads you to other places. For instance, I saw a post that zoomed in on the books that are on the table beside him.
Yeah.
I love that level of detail. However, I don't want the taxpayers having to pay for it. Don't like, I just think that we are not in an economic place for us to celebrate these excesses of Ottawa. And
Can we just enjoy the
I think-
plain socks? Let's just
Like-
enjoy the plain socks for a second.
Oh, actually,
Look at
yeah.
that. Just regular old trouser
that-
socks.
I
also
You know,
like
that's
that they-
great.
I also like that they didn't make it like needlessly abstract or whatever. Like you always get those
Right.
new paintings of the new governor generals trying to be like super modern, and it's like abstract. It's like, I'm sorry, people in 20, 30 years when they're touring the governor general's mansion
Yeah.
are not going to care about your like particular favorite style of pointillism at the time. Can we
Right.
just have a portrait that depicts you? And I at least like that Stephen Harper's portrait actually just depicts him. Maybe take a few Easter eggs out of the back, but it's a nice change in form. I'm wondering what Justin Trudeau is going to do. It's going to look like a Katy Perry album cover or whatever.
Oh, can you guys just imagine? It'll
I'm
be
already
like scratch
dreading
and
the
sniff.
socks.
It'll
Yeah.
be scratch and sniff.
Gross.
Ugh.